Welcome back to our Score Studios. I'm Martine Geyer along with Greg Sansoni.
There's only one story in sports, and it is that the games are on hold. Because of the recent attacks in the United States, the sporting world has been virtually shut down for the rest of this week and right through to the weekend. Major League Baseball will not resume play until Monday.
Well, I recognize that the suffering from Tuesday's horrific tragedy continues. I believe that in a spirit of national recovery and a return to normalcy, Major League Baseball, as a social institution, can best be helpful by resuming play at the most appropriate time. I believe that time is Monday.
Some believe baseball should have acted more quickly. Mark McGwire said, quote, "It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out sporting events are absolutely meaningless compared with what's going on in Washington and New York." McGwire also added, "For people to think it's okay to play sports this weekend is absolutely asinine."
It just doesn't seem right to go out there and play such a meaningless baseball game right now. It would be hard for us to go out there and concentrate on doing our job when this has happened. This is probably the most traumatic thing that's ever happened in my life, and you can't just sweep that under the rug 2 or 3 days later.
The games that have been postponed will be made up by extending the regular season by 1 week. That means the World Series, which was originally scheduled to end on October 28th, will be played into November. The NFL has decided there will not be any games this weekend. League Commissioner Paul Tagliabue released the following statement. "We in the National Football League have decided that our priorities for this weekend are to pause, grieve, and reflect. It is a time to tend to families and neighbors and all those wounded by these horrific acts of terrorism." On Sunday, September 23rd, the NFL, its players and coaches, will return stronger than ever and resume our playing schedule. No one in the NFL is second-guessing the commissioner.
From a team's perspective, there's no question in my mind that it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do for our football players as well as our coaches. But at the same time, we were willing to wait, listen to the NFL, listen to the president on what direction that he felt was the best interest of our country.
I think it's the right move, and hopefully, there will be a better feeling once, we come back next week, and I know we will be. I mean, it'll definitely be a lot better than, what it was this week, and we'll be ready to go, and I think the fans will also see, teams that are more focused and ready to play.
Well, I was glad it took its time, that it weighed what was out there, the consequences. You always say when you're making a decision, you're looking at the good and the bad. I couldn't find good in this.
We know the stadiums will be empty this weekend. What we don't know is what will happen with the games that were supposed to be played.
One alternative would be to play this weekend's games wild card weekend and eliminate the wild card games for this year. That would enable everybody to play 16 games, but we would lose the wild card weekend. That's one option, but that hasn't been decided.
Eliminating the wild card weekend is one option. The other two that the NFL is exploring is to play a 15-game schedule, with the exception of the San Diego Chargers, who were not scheduled to play on Sunday. The other is to eliminate bye weeks altogether and leave the postseason the same. The CFL has decided Week 11 will go on. There's only one change to the schedule. The Rough Riders and Stamps game has been postponed until Saturday. The New Hampshire 300 will not take place this weekend. It has been postponed by NASCAR until November. The NHL has canceled all preseason games for Saturday and Sunday. The NCAA has postponed all Division 1A games, and this week's stop on the LPGA Tour in Portland will not take place after all.
Sporting events have obviously taken a back seat during this time of tragedy. However, as CNN's Tom Rinaldi reminds us, once the games resume, they will offer many of us much more than just entertainment.
There were endless replays, but there were no highlights. There were face masks, but there were no fields. There were true losses and no victories. Sports are played in their seasons, but September 11, 2001 was time without measure and event without season. Barry Bonds didn't swing. The Mariners didn't clinch. Michael Jordan didn't matter. the stadiums and their seats sat empty, like the rest of us. Like any airport in America, sports shut down, as it should be. Through history, our games have always been more than diversion. At flashpoints in time, they have given us something beyond joy and signaled our return to normalcy and served our desire to have work followed by play. In less trying times, they give us standings to measure our years. There is Joe DiMaggio swinging after World War II. There are the Olympics resuming after Munich's terror. There is Whitney Houston singing the national anthem during the Gulf War. If we wanted an anthem yesterday and to sing it in seats with our friends next to us, instead we had silence, or worse, chaos. Sports has again been relegated to the sidelines of society, a place in truth it rarely occupies, but a place it truly belongs in priority and perspective. If our games provide metaphors for living, life itself is enough for now. Yet, for how long? Our games, our teams, our players are part of the culture's core in America. They are not entertainment. They are the establishment. So there is a role the games can and should play when they can and should resume. Our sports will allow us, in given moments, to take our eyes from the solemn nature of our world and again measure victory without ultimate loss and celebrate triumph without a human price. Bonds will swing. The Mariners will clinch. Jordan will matter. But not now.
We'll take a break and come back with plenty more right after this.